everybody. Today I put together a slideshow. We've got 5 maps I thought were super cool while I was just searching through the internet. And so let's just get right to it. So this first one is from World Mapper, and this is the nation's GDP relative to the world. So each of these countries are either bigger or smaller in size depending on how their GDP compares to the rest of the world. So you can see like Central Africa, Russia, Canada, Australia, South America, most of these countries, and well, South America is a continent, but they're shrunken. And then Europe, the Middle East, US, and Asia are kind of bloated up. And so you can see from this map just which parts of the world are higher GDP and lower GDP, and where you can earn the best wages compared to the others. All right, and this map, it also comes from World Mapper, and this is the US 2020 presidential election. So the elections were between Biden and Trump, or Republican and Democrat Party. And the blue here is the Democratic votes, and you can see that all of the blue votes basically were stemming out of really large metropolitan cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Miami, Houston. And all of the red votes you see here, the Republican or Trump, came from Bible Belt area or the Midwest or the northwestern regions of the US. So I thought it was really cool just to see how these big cities really have a lot of the Democrat votes, and how these rural areas just really are in strong favor of the Republicans. So this is a pretty cool map, I thought. This is the median age of every country in the world. And you can see like Central Africa, you get this green, big, strong green region. And this is gonna be due to just a lot of kids being born, less use of contraceptives, and then also lower education about contraceptives in this area. In any area you can see where there's a high GDP like Europe and the US and parts of Asia, you actually have less children being born, and that's often due to the role of women in society. And then you also have higher average ages just due to better healthcare systems. So those make it all around higher median age. So this fourth map here deals with driving orientation. So you can see that so much of the world is actually drivers over the right-hand side of the road, and then the blue areas are the people that drive on the left-hand side of the road. So we all knew that UK hopefully drives on the left-hand side of the road, but I really thought that more of Europe would also be left-hand side drivers, and it turns out they're not. But you know, it is the Bahamas. So I thought that was really cool because it turns out a lot of these cars in the Bahamas are imported from the US. So they're actually left-hand driving, like left-hand steering wheel cars, but they're driving also on the left-hand side of the road. So that must make it pretty tricky to drive. So be careful if you're ever in the Bahamas. So speaking of the UK, speaking of England or the British, this is actually a map of all the countries that the British has invaded. So the ones in the red here are countries that the British has one time invaded or conquered. And you can see what was interesting to me was that it's all countries on like the outer regions of the continent. So port countries, but you can see in the white the ones that they haven't been able to invade were the middle countries, the parts in the middle of the continents. And Sweden, then there's Sweden. So I thought it was really cool to see this map, and wow, the British have really touched everywhere. So yeah, so that's this one. If you guys liked this video, leave a comment if you learned something or you have something to share, some fact, some tidbit. I really want to hear if there's a tidbit out there. If you're just watching, see if somebody else left a comment that may shine some light on some of these maps. Thank you guys.